Hi, and welcome to part 5, which will be the final one. Aiming to make this one very quick. Okay, so before we start, I just want to mention something quickly, and that is that you'll notice animations won't be very smooth, and transitions won't be great. But there's nothing, unfortunately, I can do about that. There seems to be a problem that Epic is aware of related to their mannequin that comes with 4.8, where the root actually contains 90-degree offset on the x-axis for all the animations. So that would be that would include the idle, the run, the walk, basically everything. And we don't have the same problems with the animation starter pack, but unfortunately that doesn't have idle and walk and stuff that we are currently using. So to demonstrate what this problem is, I created a blend space here. And if you take an animation that doesn't have this 90-degree offset, then when you blend between that and theirs, Epic's mannequin, you'll notice it dips down as it's rotating, as the root is actually rotating. So if you look at the skeleton here, there's the skeleton. See, this is what it should look like. It should look like that. But you'll notice when you go over to these, it's flipping and it's causing this problem. So I just wanted to mention that, which is why we'll be creating semi-workarounds. But let's get started. So I did import the animations. I did create some new animations to make things look a little better. And I tried to compensate as best I could for this Epic's problem. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. So I did bring in the animations, and I'm just going to quickly run through them. So I have the wall climb animation, and if you open it up, wall climb, make sure root motion is on, and then go to the montage, because you need to create, so you can just right click and create montage. So just open up that montage and make sure the correct slot is selected. Also add the branching point or the notification, which is climbing end. This is for the wall climb animation. So climbing end, select that and change it to branching point. Move it to the end. This is the workaround we're going to use. I tried to match my animation as closely as possible with the idle animation. So blend out time should be 0. Make that 0. And then also the start. My animations match each other pretty well. So for this specific wall climb montage, you can make the blend in time 0 as well. So blend in and blend out can both be 0. And you can just save that. Let's go to the next montage, which is the wall climb knees. Now, it doesn't look like I have root motion on this, so I'm just going to go to the animation and enable root motion. There we go. And then go back to the montage. I'm just going to pause this. Make sure your slot is set to the correct slot. Add the notification, and it'll be climb knee end. Also move this one to the end and make sure it's branching point. There we go. Its out transition should be the same, 0. I just want to see where it starts. So it starts there. So for the blend in time, you can actually leave it on 0.25 because it's not going to transition in from an animation. It could transition in from jump or from wall run, and we don't have a set frame there. So just leave that on 0.25. Let's check the next one, wall run montage. First, I'm going to open wall run animation and make sure root motion is set. Okay, so it looks like it's working. Just open the montage, do the same thing, set the slot to the correct one, add the notification, wall run end. I'm going to move this a little bit away from the end. I don't want it exactly on the end. Make it a branching point. And then blend out time can be 0.25 and blend in time as well. Okay, so we're going to make a quick adjustment in the animation blueprint for this guy. So just open up the animation blueprint. Go to default, where we have our states, and at the ledge grab, just update, replace ledge grab placeholder with the new one. There should be a new one that I created. So just replace that one, so you're not playing that one anymore. I'm just quickly going to look in the content browser at this animation and make sure it's the correct one. Okay, this is not the correct one. Pretty sure, oh, it's called wall grab. Okay, my bad, it's called wall grab. So just go back here and change to the wall grab animation. This should be the correct one. I wanted to open this. Yeah, okay, that's the correct one. I'll probably update this so you won't have to worry about this, but you might watch this tutorial before I get to update this specific animation, and you'll notice that it only goes till frame 8. So if you move it to frame 8, you can just right click and say remove frame 9 to 29, because we only need this little part here. Cool. One other thing in the animation blueprint, where it's wall run, just select play wall grab, select wall grab and say is a loop animation. Just untick that. We don't want it to constantly loop, we want him to only play that once. Okay, and then go to your event graph. We're going to create a little bit of different logic here, where at the bottom we've got this is it falling set is in air. So we're going to change this a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is something you don't have to do, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this try get pawn owner and just copy and paste it there, connect it there, so I can get rid of this line running across my screen here. I'm going to move this stuff up, maybe it's all about there, and just move this a little down so I can see my line. Okay, now I'm also going to disconnect this. This is going to here, and I'm going to branch out from is falling. I'll explain to you now why I'm doing this. So that goes there. I'm going to create another branch, and this branch will go in there. I'm gonna disconnect this where we set is in air, is getting its value from is falling. So I'm gonna disconnect that. I'm gonna copy and paste it over here, and I'm gonna set this one to true and this one to false. And this one does go in there, yes, and false goes in here. And then this runs up to here. I'm just gonna quickly add a reroute to make it look like that. I'm gonna plug this reroute in here. Okay, so now I've got both running through this. It just looks better, I think. And this I can move a little up. Okay, so is valid goes into this branch, and then from the movement component I want to get is flying, and I'm going to plug this into the second branch. So basically what we're doing is we're checking, is the character falling? Yes, I am falling. Okay, then set that I am in air. Is in the air? Yes, set that to true then. But if I'm not falling, I'm going to check, am I flying? If I am flying, then set is in the air. Otherwise, set false. So make sure the second one there is set to false. So the reason I'm doing it this way is because when you're in the air, it doesn't necessarily mean when you're falling, it doesn't necessarily mean this is the only case where we are in the air. If we're flying, we need to be in the air as well. And when you are flying, it doesn't register you as is falling. So that's why we're doing this. Okay, let's move on then and go to our animation graph. Our event graph, we were there actually. So where we set all the animation montages previously, we're just going to update that quickly. And this is the knee climb. So I'm just going to make this the wall climb knees montage. Wait 1 second. That is a mistake. This is the wall run placeholder. So it's checking if the wall run is playing. If it is, it's going to stop that. So replace that with the correct one, which would be the wall run montage. And then it needs to stop the wall run montage. And montage play is where we play the knee wall climb knees montage. And here where knee climb ends, we replace that with the correct knee wall climb knees montage. I'm just going to comment this block quick and call it knee climb. Okay, and over here we've got the wall run. So I'm going to montage play the wall run, the correct one now, not the placeholder anymore. And we need to stop the correct one as well. Okay, and we probably need to do it for ledge climbing, which would be this climb, wall climb montage. And it needs to stop the wall climb montage as well. Okay, and I think that's it. Except we need to fix transition. So in here what we're doing is that we are going to the ledge grab from the jump start. Idle run and jump loop can all go to ledge grab. So we need to make sure that our transitions are better equipped to handle what we're about to do. And we want to go out from ledge grab to idle run. And the reason for this is because your animation state is going to be in a ledge grab state when he's busy climbing, because when he's busy climbing from a ledge grab animation. Yeah, so let's just update this and make sure that when it transitions out from ledge grab, it needs to be better. And to go back to jump loop, we want to get that bull is in air. So is in air must be true, and this must not be true. So we'll just add an and. So both those conditions have to be met. Okay, so it must be not be able to grab, and in air must be true. Just moving this over here so I'm easy to find it. Okay, and then to go back to idle run, it's sort of the same, only a little bit different. Can grab must also not be true, but in air must also not be true. So I'm just going to move not to the back here. And then plug that in. Now one important step here, because of that transition issue, even though our montage is stopping, it is going to stop, but then it's still going to be in a ledge grab. And currently when you click on this one that's going back to idle run, this duration is 0.2. We don't want that. We want it to be 0. We want it to immediately switch. We don't want it to blend from ledge grab to idle run, because that's just going to look weird. And let's quickly have a look and see if this climbing transition is working out now for us. Okay, so that looked like it worked. So let's look at the slide quick. There's still a few issues. I didn't update the actual slide animation, so I just left that one like it is. But we'll need to fix some of the logic there, because if I can remember correctly, there were some outstanding issues with the sliding. So I'm just putting him there to make it easy to get to. Let's just quickly check what he does. Okay, so he does slide, and as you can see, he's sliding on the angle he hit the wall. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix that. Open your character blueprint and look for the sliding section. Stop climbs, where it can do slides, wall sliding section. Okay, so as you notice, he was sliding in the direction you were already traveling in. So I'm going to say XY override on the launch character. This will ensure that he's not going to slide, because those values are set to 0. So that should get rid of that problem. But now there's another little issue we quickly need to look at. I'm going to take this, just move this out a bit and move it up a bit. Maybe to around there. I think that's maybe a bit higher. Maybe there. Okay. So let's quickly grab this, slide, slide, slide. And as you can see, he keeps sliding. Now the reason for that is because we missed a vital step when we set up the sliding. After the wall tracer, we are checking, am I hitting something? Yes, I am hitting something. Okay, cool. If I can hit something or I am busy hitting something, then do the wall sliding. And then the reset and stop wall slide is based on the fact that it's, if I can remember correctly, it's hitting the floor. It's a certain distance from the floor. Now we also want to make sure that if it's no longer hitting the wall, it needs to also stop the slide. So there's one of two ways. You can either just drag this wire all the way to sequence to make sure it goes to the wall stop slide, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to reset and stop, because we have that custom event. Also, it just minimizes wires going all over the show. So this should theoretically get rid of that problem. Let's see how that works for us. Okay, so that problem was fixed. Now we have another issue that we do need to address. Just 1 second. Okay, so all I did now was I duplicated this platform over here, and I created a little helper there, just another platform, so I can see as a visual cue for me. And I just did this to make getting my distances right, to test and debug. So when you jump, you're going to notice it tries to slide and tries to grab and tries to do everything in once, like that, and doesn't really get anywhere. Okay, so we'll fix that now. Open up your character blueprint, and then when we do the wall tracer before the ledge slide, we're doing this, so we've got this macro, and we created these placeholders, and we're going to create a condition now to adjust how much lower the trace needs to happen. Okay, but I'll keep it relatively simple. I just want to get what speed the guy is traveling at in a downward angle. So just get the velocity, break it, and then we'll simply do a less than and check if it's traveling downwards faster than this minus 200. And also it needs to be in a falling state. So we'll just do and check, is it falling? Then it'll select the value we want. So create a variable and call it height factor. Change it to a float. Okay, and then from this and just not branch, do a select. Okay, so if this happens, it's going to be true, and when it's true, we want this height factor. Just compile quickly so we can modify it. Make the height factor 80, and we'll get it, and we'll plug it in there. Otherwise, if this is not true, it'll just be 0, meaning it'll trace roughly from the hips. Okay, and then you can plug this value, this float value, into those minuses. Now this should get rid of this grabbing problem we're having, because it's going to check, am I flying through the air? If I am, it's going to minus that height factor, which is 80. So instead of tracing from the hips when the character is here, it's going to trace 80 units lower, so it'll actually hit the wall and compensate for the fact that you're flying through there. Because if you're flying down at this angle, it's going to trace, and by the time it hits it, your characters are already going to be in this area below the ledge. So that's why we're doing it lower, so that when it comes, it's going to trace below the guy, and then, oh, I'm here, cool, grab on. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So let's check how that works out. Okay, so the grab is already much better. I just want to make sure the wall slide is still working well. Okay, the wall slide didn't work, and we'll look into that just now. What I want to do now is I want to make sure that the knee climb works. So if I run up the wall, it should go into the knee climb. It did. It looked really weird, but it did. Okay. So let's have a look quick what's happening there. That looks super hard, and I think that could be due to the height, because it looks like it was semi into the wall as well. So go to the knee climbing section over here where we're moving the component to the place. We're currently putting it at minus 50. So I'm going to lift it a bit and say minus 70. Let's have a look what happens now. Okay, it still does that, but I don't know, something doesn't look right. It's like really hard. He's like pounding that BSP there. Okay, and before I'm going to troubleshoot that issue, there is one little thing I picked up, and that is after the knee climb, we need to actually set is wall running to false. So just after it, set wall run, set is wall running, make sure it's set to false, because it's going to sometimes be doing it from a wall run position like we are doing now, and we're not actually resetting that wall run. So just make sure you add that there just for redundancy. I'm just gonna have another look here, and I can't put my finger on it, but it looks weird. Maybe it's the animation itself. It looks like it's like just ripping down. Bam! I think it might just be the animation, so I'll have to put some work into that animation. But for now, what I'm going to do is I just want to look at the actual animation, and we should have the wall climb knees. First I want to see what is the transition here. So there is a 0.25, that should be good. I'm gonna look at the actual animation here, and it's 49 frames. Should be good. Let's look at it without root motion for a second. See, that looks not the same. It looks like he's slowly doing it. Well, slower. Maybe I'm going to change this rate scale just to 0.85, just to make it a tiny bit slower. Just make sure root motion is on if you do change that. I just want to see. Okay, well, that's acceptable. Okay. Maybe it's got to do with that issue. Okay, so we're not sliding now. We need to investigate why. And I think this might be due to the factor of how we're handling this wall tracer macro now. So I'm going to add just an additional step here. And I want to say is sliding. I want to get this and then just plug that in there. And make this one, if it is sliding should be true. Okay, I'm gonna make this 0, or let's do it the other way around and put that to no, I think that was better this way around. Okay, so keep that to false, and I'll then plug in this, because I don't necessarily want to move it, because it was working pretty well before we implemented this section here. So I think let's just work around that, and then if sliding is false, it'll return that value, because that's what we want. We want to check if it's falling. But if it is in fact sliding, we don't want to modify the downward tracing. So to debug this, I'm going to where I can do wall slides. I did a quick play and I see it's failing on the branch here, meaning one of those conditions are not being met. This looks a bit high actually. This is get velocity, and only if it's traveling faster than that, which is like really fast. So I wanted to grab a bit sooner than that. So I'm going to change this to maybe 200, so it doesn't have to be like flying super fast just to slide on the wall. And let me quickly move this character so I don't have to run through the entire level just to get there to test it. I'll be with you now. Okay, let's see if that fixes the problem. Okay, that did not fix the problem. Then one of these is failing, is hanging, is climbing, is sliding. Okay, so the only other thing it can be is that this distance we're returning could be too great, that it's not reading that it's close to the wall. So I'm going to make the distance 100. Okay, cool. So there now the slide works again. Okay, so everything as far as I'm aware is working. It's doing the knee climb while you're running up the wall. But if the wall is higher, it'll grab with his hands and you can climb up. You can do slides. Oh well, you can do slides occasionally. Perhaps this wall is just... You can do slides, so you can play around with those settings, just get it to work a bit better for you. Let's just check that knee climb again. I just want to see that knee climb again. Make sure that if I'm jumping and I'm a certain height from the wall, it'll go into that. Yeah, see? So this part here where it does that, where it doesn't actually climb up, that is where you will go and then modify this. Not modify, you'll actually duplicate this. Let me just move this back. So as I explained in the previous tutorial, this knee climb section, this is what you can actually duplicate. You can duplicate this, and then from the sequence here that says go to next climbing function, that's you'll pull out from that into this. So just, I'm going to delete this now, but just a quick example, what you'll do is you'll basically duplicate this and then pull this out into the start here. You'll modify your settings here at the can climb knees. You can actually rename that macro to something else and just put in different values for yourself. And this will then modify what you are doing. So everything will basically stay the same except this interface here that you're sending the climbing knees. You'll create a new interface. You'll call it climbing with feet, and then you can do a little step up where it just like hooks his one foot onto the ledge and steps up onto the ledge, as opposed to dangling in the air and falling and then grabbing. So yeah, I think this should conclude the tutorial. I'm pretty sure all of this gave you enough information to start developing your own ledge climbing system and improving on this. This can definitely be expanded a lot and improved a lot. So hopefully this did prove beneficial to you guys. You can also check out my website. I am putting on some new content there. It should be in the description or on the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Cheers.